she put a pot on she hair and gone. Them a the first one out on the dam. Basket on she head, bucket in each hand. Hold up on she frock, I wanna she grandson. To the market, them a go. For the morning, the day is dawning. For cockcrow to give the villagers a warning. Rise and shine, the birds them a sing. All animal take turn as them join in the waking. Cockcrow, dagaba, donkey, bray, horse, and they even duck a quack. Cockcrow, dagaba, donkey, bray, horse, and they even duck a quack. Come and hear this sweet story that tell the people about life in the country. All day a back down, me now I come home. Inaga, jackass yard for fetch the load. Cockle shy hand, bag over shoulder, running by his side, a Rexy and Rover. From the farm, them a come. Sun a go down but up the river. Some washing clothes, some folks are bathing at the water. Fisherman, they catch them a bring. From a canoe boat, man, them start offloading. Aymara, Kwakwari, Hail Baka Kuma Kuma, even Lokonani. Aymara, Kwakwari, Hail Baka Kuma Kuma, even Bangameri. Listen to this sweet story that tell the people about life in the country. Them children glad when the weekend come. Out in the yard, them all gather round. Some a play catcher, some making house from straw. Two who come later, a grandma or grandpa. All a sit down just a wait. Moonlight so bright, it's just the right time to listen story or to say a little nursery rhyme. Grandpa voice a echo in the night as he tell some picnic are there with fright. Oh Ligan, Mungeza, Massa Kurma Bura Nancy even Watamuma. Oh Ligan, Mungeza, Massa Kurma Bura Nancy even Watamuma. Yeah man, that's the true story that tell the people about life in the country.
If you are looking to have your statutory declaration, affidavit of income, identity, damage or lost passport, lost license, tenancy agreement, agreement of settlement, power of attorney, last will and testament, and certification of documents, then you need to visit the Alistair Collins firm, located at the Killian Mall, 162 Lamaha Street, in Georgetown, between Camp and Waterloo Street. Alistair Collins is a commissioner of oaths and a justice of the peace. Make certain you visit him or call for more information at 649-6410 or 685-6448 or 503-1451. And there's adequate parking available. Go down to the Alistair Collins firm and have all of your legal issues settled and brought to the fore. Alistair Collins Firm. Contact them at Alistair Collins Firm.
You get that foot and not you got that foot 200, you get a special for 300 uncle. You can get that foot. If you want, if you not take a taste good, you got that foot, you can taste some bite too. You get nice dark foot, kind of chip. All the woman was a man is dark. You could come and get a dark foot for your husband. Everybody get a choice. We know deprive nobody. Uncle, you get a dark food, chip, sell out right away. They get a dark food, 200, 300 to the special.
Making the short video for send to you and the viewers and listeners. I'll know we punishing in Guyana. Punishing. Rice gone up, sugar gone up, flour gone up, castor living just gone up, gas gone up from 3,400 to 3,800. Real hungry days under this installed PPP government. Real hungry days we gone back to. Guyanese? Oh! Real hungry days, real hungry days.
I will play rough. I will play rough. Sometimes you see you handleless. The man want to show you how wicked and tough. And the day back with you with your right rough. You want to get a chicken and you want to. I step on Chichi man. Step on everything. One wicked man. We are down when I fall out every man. I'll step one Chichi man. When you say you're a Chichi man. I will play rough. I will play rough. Sometimes you see you handleless. The man want to show you how wicked and tough. And the day back with you with your right rough. You want to get a chicken and you want to. I step on Chichi man. Step on everything. One wicked man. We are down when I fall out every man. I'll step one Chichi man. When you say you're a Chichi man.
All right. Hey, good evening. Not to worry. I am here this evening with you guys, and I will be here with you guys. Let me see here. Sorry about that. I will be here. I was rushing. I almost missed the show, and as you see there, we are restricted to some extent, but we know that you guys are still getting the message. Those of you who are listening to us via your radios on the ground, whether you're in a car, whether you're in the minibuses, or wherever you are. Good evening to all of you who are tuned in to 107.1 FM. The radio station that tells it like it is. And we have no apologies. We don't beat around the bush. We don't nice up our politics. We don't fancy it. We don't try to suck up to those in the installed regime, right? We don't do that. We tell it like it is, whether they like it or not. And look, this is what they do. They're a bunch of I know you guys wanted to see my lips just now, but I'll repeat it so that you guys wouldn't be able to see my lips and to read my lips. But a lot of you are grown-ups. You understand exactly, exactly what I'm saying. They are a bunch of, right? They cannot take the heat. Look at this one. Look at it. Schumann doesn't make a lot of sense. A waste of taxpayers' dollars. He's an advisor to the government. He is deputy speaker of the National Assembly. He is leader of a small, very small political group or Gafpat group that barely got some votes. And so it was a matter of miracle that he is sitting there as a representative in our National Assembly. What the heck has our National Assembly gone to? Look at some of these Mickey Mouses who are sitting there claiming to be representing Guyana. I don't know. And so this guy, that guy there, Schumann, contacted, of course, you could press a button and complain like a little, right? Complain to Facebook, as you can see here, that it's a legitimate post describing him exactly as a flatfoot political hustler. Freedom of speech, a flatfoot political hustler seeking publicity as a political W-H-O-R-E, a political W-H-O-R-E, wanting attention whilst putting the nation at risk and disrespecting citizens of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana. So he wants to come out and say that in order for people, hard-working taxpayers of Guyana, something he doesn't know about, whilst he sleeps in a luxury hotel, I know that he's still in that hotel room that he has been in for quite a long time during elections time. You know what I mean? It's none of my business what happened there. I'm just talking about, I don't know. I just don't know, right? And this is a guy who has had allegations of being with little girls, wants to talk. He wants to talk about morality. He wants to talk about decency. He wants to talk about democracy. He wants to pretend as though he believes in Guyana and he is patriotic and he is this and he is that. This is the same guy who was waking me up at 2 and 3 o'clock in the mornings, begging to be in the coalition, begging like a loopy, you know what I mean, and wants to talk and put down hardworking Guyanese people, that he now becomes like a welfare recipient, collecting hundreds of thousands of dollars at the end of the month, and then wants to come and talk about hardworking mothers, single mothers, and others, that they have to be vaccinated before they collect a piece of house lot. You listen to this guy? That they have to be vaccinated before they collect the $19,000, this so-called We Care education program. That they have to show their vaccination cards before they get a house lot to claim that they have been fully vaccinated. This guy is a real clown, a real political clown. Now you guys can see my face. But before you do, Look at what he did. Right? Woo! Look at what he did. Like a little punk. I don't know what got into his head, whether it's whatever, whether he drinks or not, I don't know. Or whoever he was with, it's none of my business, mind you. I ensure that I let you guys know it's none of my business. But look at what he contacted Facebook, and he said to Facebook that me of all person, I am bullying him. Facebook, help me. Oh my gosh, Facebook, help me. Help me. Mark Benschop is bullying me. Mark Benschop is bullying me. I can't take the bullying. I am reporting him to you, Facebook. And Facebook doesn't do any investigations or anything, right? Look at what they did to poor me. After he complained and he ran like a little, you know what? And he deleted and he blocked me because he said I'm bullying him. I'm causing him distress. He is now depressed because I call him a flatfoot hustler, right? He doesn't want to accept that, and that he's a real publicity-seeking WH, right? And that is the naked truth. All I said, Cathedral, Tech One. Cathedral, Tech One. And he complained to me, to Facebook, that I'm bullying. I'm bullying him. So they blocked me for 24 hours for bullying this guy who loves to bully people. Oh, what a shame and a disgrace. You know, shame and a disgrace. I don't know. Hey, let's continue. We have other things to discuss. We have far better things to discuss. And but I just thought that I bring that to your attention. You know, coming up, and like I've said, enough of him. Time to move on. You know, coming up, Mashramani is going to be coming up soon. And one of the things I'm telling you guys up front, that I want to try something new, right? I want to try something new. I want to get into calypso and sing and these sort of things. And I do hope that you guys would support me. I'll sing a song addressing all the little girls, the underage girls who are taken advantage of by big men. You know what I mean, right? Who are taken advantage of by big men, and scores of allegations. And when those reports are made to police stations, some of those big men rush with their monies, hundreds of thousands of dollars, and they pay the family members off and all these different things. It's happening, but it's got to stop. It has got to stop. And who the cap fits, let them wear it. Mind you, I've been blocked for 24 hours. And here goes my calypso song. You guys can help me. You know, Faith LaRose and all you guys, Precious Mineral, and others, you know, you can help me. Chandra Paul Mohabir and all the others, you can help me with this tune. You know, Guyanese are very old-fashioned. I have never heard any other, seriously, any other sort of beat from Guyanese. Always with this old-fashioned beat. Da-da-da-da-dan-dan-dan-dan. Be-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee-beam-beam-beam-beam. I'm talking to all of you underage gal. You better cover up and run from all of them pervert. Cover up yourself. Just like some of them don't like to cover up themselves. They're running like the letters in the alphabet from B all the way to T. Cover up yourself, young gal, and run from the big pervert them. Look, man, I'm going to stick doing what I do because I don't know. This candle in the background, I'm with all those who have lost their lives, their relatives, and so forth. So tonight we're going to dim the lights down a little, and we have that candle there. So that is how we are going to do the show. No tie, no nothing. I know a lot of you guys like the calypso. Thank you all so much. But I'll stick doing what I'm doing, right? All right. So what else can we continue with? Good evening to all of you. Now that we've gotten that message out of the way, you know, it's like we throw the trash in the bin. We just did that with the trash. Throw the trash in the bin. And every night we will continue to throw the trash in the bin. You guys are smart enough to know the trash that we have, that we throw in the bin. For those of you who are from, look, Winston Boucher and others, please don't pacify me. You know, as soon as I started singing, the rains came down, right? You guys know I have to stick doing what I'm doing, right, as a talk show host. Probably the best in Guyana. You guys, you know, I like to tease some of those other guys, and there are a couple of others who are doing a good job, and I give them their props for that. Errol Pratt, good evening to you. Gladstone Matthews, Miss Booker, gosh, Miss Booker, and Marlene Thomas, and all of them. Look, this lady, you see that that orange kind of mark I got on her there? She's from Linden. And there's a reason. I was running through some photographs that I took whilst this protest was happening on that very day. Again, I don't know how many of you guys know this woman. I hope she's still alive. But she was a brave woman. Brave woman. I want to salute whoever this woman is. She said to me that she knows me since I was a baby, but I don't know who she is. But this lady, if I had my way, I'll give her an award. She stood up on that bridge and she started the protest in Linden. I'm saying that it wasn't leaders, it was her. I was there. I know. This was on Linden Bridge, the Mackenzie Bridge, Mackenzie Wisma Bridge. She said that it makes no sense, and I agree with her 100%, because I videoed her, I interviewed her right there on that bridge on that very day. She said she had a knee problem. She couldn't walk across the bridge. She needs help. She slowed down. Everybody surrounded her, as you can see. The bridge was shut down, completely down, as a result of this woman, our local Rosa Parks in Linden. Our local Rosa Parks in Linden. I salute her. If you guys know her, I hope she's still alive. Give her my regards. And if she is still alive, and I do hope she is alive, she deserves a hamper. Compliments of 107.1 FM. She deserves a lovely hamper. That's the spirit. Congratulations to her. I'll have to meet her one day again. I hope she is alive. A brave, brave woman. I'm leaving her up there for a couple, maybe another minute, so that those of you who know her, she's from Linden. She's from Linden. Show her some respect. Show mom some respect. Show granny some respect. If you see her in the boat, oh, her name is Marlene. Okay. All right. Somebody seems to know her. And Fern Wayat Nesta says that her name is Marlin. So, Fern, is Marlin still alive? Is Marlin still alive? Wow, she is in the US. All right, makes it even better. I've got to see her. I really do. Somebody's saying, let me talk about the PPP BS government. Well, we're getting to that. Sean Lewis, we are getting to that. We're now warming up. We are getting to that. All right, give Marlin my regards. Give her my regards. Tell her I spoke about her, and I hope that she would somebody's talking about Rohi and his book. We don't talk about those things on Benschop Radio. We just don't. Sorry about that. Well, we just don't talk about those things on Benschop Radio. We don't talk about those individuals at all. All right, welcome back. I was just looking at some of your comments. Jan Adams saying, petition, 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 petition. Yes, petition, 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 petition. But y'all don't expect me to talk about the petition, 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 when in fact it is the duty of the opposition, Mr. Harman, the lawyers in the coalition. They have quite a few lawyers, you know. Yep, they have some of them. Let them speak. Let them remind their support base about the petition. Come out and talk. Don't just talk about it one and two times. Talk about when is it going to remind your support base. Remind the listeners about the elections petition. Because it looks as though the elections petition is still tucked away somewhere in the appeals court. And you guys want to know what is happening. It's only fair that time and time that you guys should be reminded about that. And that's the duty of the opposition. That's the duty of the opposition leader and those guys. Let them talk about it. You know what I mean? Let them talk about that. I agree with you with a comment, an individual who just asked about the elections petition. And rightly so. These are the things people want to hear about as well. And the cash grant, and I know some of them are going to get vexed with me in the opposition. But y'all know that I don't really care whether they vex, whether they stop talk to me, you know, because some of them has long up their mouth on me. They has gone and it has susu. Yeah, I'll hear what Benschop said has gone in the little groups and susu, but let them susu and give them more things to susu about tonight. Constructive things for them to susu about. Now, the Minister of Education under the coalition government was Nicolette Henry. Nicolette Henry. Dr. Nicolette Henry. Dr. Nicolette Henry. Right? She was the Minister of Education under the coalition government. I repeat, the Minister of Education under the coalition government. And now there's a reason why I'm reminding you guys about that. There is a reason, not a personal reason, just as a reminder. Now they have something that's called this propaganda that Priya Manik-Chan is spreading. This propaganda about we care. We care. Priya is pretending as though they care. They care, they care, they care, they care. When in fact, they do not care. They just do not care. But in all of this propaganda from the PPP, let's go back to Nicolette Henry, Dr. Nicolette Henry. Dr. Nicolette Henry. Hello, good evening. Good evening, right? Dr. Nicolette Henry is the shadow minister of education. And what do they mean by shadow minister of education? It simply means that she's shadowing. So whatever happens in the Ministry of Education, Nicolette Henry should be following up and talking to you, supporters and non-supporters of the coalition, telling you guys about the plans that the coalition has, the opposition has, and even to speak out on these sort of things. But she's not saying anything. I don't know if she has said anything and I haven't heard, but I haven't read anything in the newspapers in Guyana. I haven't seen Nicolette Henry. I think she popped out for a couple of seconds at Coffee Square, where they do a few minutes lunchtime protesting, and then they go back to wherever. But she was there. But I want to commend those couple of MPs who go out there every Wednesday. Every Wednesday they go out. I want to commend them. I don't want to, when folks are doing something, to lash them and say that that is not enough or they're not doing. They're doing. And I know some of the members of parliament for the coalition are working. They're very hard workers. They mean well. But they get a lot of them are playing this sweet boy, sweet girl kind of politics, you know. That sort of politics does you no justice. You need vibrant, hardworking members of parliament. But, you know, I hope to God that some of those who are not doing justice to the coalition and its support base, I hope to God they're not going to remain there until elections, whenever elections are held. I hope to God they're not. I hope so. And that is why we are here, to keep those MPs in check. Some of them, I've been watching some of them, and I'm not going to call some of their names now, some of the lazy ones, and some who aren't working, and some who are basically dead weights. But there are some who are working very, very hard. Very hard. And you guys know who those individuals are. You know who those individuals are. I don't have to call out their names. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't have to call out their names. You know who they are, right? You know who are working for you and who are playing sweet boy and sweet girl politics. But get back to Dr. Nicolette Henry. Dr. Nicolette Henry says nothing about the ministry that she is shadowing. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Sits there like a sweet girl. I don't know if that's the new style of politicking or representation of the people. But I'm bothered. It bothers me about that. Some may say people are behind the scene doing research and all that. The people didn't elect members of parliament to go and sit and do research. So Dr. Nicolette Henry, if you're watching, and people love to personalize things. They love to say that Benschop, look at Benschop calling names, and he always talking bad. They're not looking at the 95% of encouragement or encouraging things that we do right here on 107.1 FM. They look at these few criticisms, these constructive criticisms, and believe that Benschop should only be hugging and kissing them and chatting their foot and their toes all the time, and don't offer some constructive criticism towards them. Like I oftentimes remind them, I'm not a member of their political parties, I'm not. But I appreciate a lot of things that happen under the coalition. More could have been done, hell yes. But it did a heck of a lot, far more than what the PPP did in its 23 years in office. So Dr. Nicolette Henry, people need to hear from you now. They want leadership as it pertains to the education sector. They need to hear from you. You are the shadow minister representing the coalition. People need to hear from you and other members of parliament who are shadowing other ministers. They need to hear from those individuals. I don't know. I just don't know what is happening. But please tell Miss Henry, somebody that I don't know. I believe many years ago, she and I may have passed each other when we were teenagers. We attended mass games together. Someone reminded me of that. I never met her then. I met some other lovely students at Berbice High School. But I didn't meet her. I just didn't meet her. But I was told that we attended mass games at the same time. Mass games, oh gosh, makes me feel really, really old. And I recall meeting Dr. Nicolette Henry once when this scholar from Harvard University, she got her scholarship to attend the University of Harvard, and she visited Guyana. The young lady, Kelly Isles. And that's the first time I recall meeting then Minister of Education, for a simple request. Not for me, not for Kelly Isles, that would benefit the entire country. A simple, small request that was shot down. Oh gosh, sometimes Felix Primo, what's going on, man? Tonight is just it's just an easy night. If you notice, I don't want to dwell much because I didn't come prepared. I ran out of a minibus, and here it is. I am with you guys. But I know Dinesh, member of parliament, a hard-working member of parliament. He did a great job. Not so long, from 8 to 9 o'clock, Dinesh Jaiprashad, the honorable member of parliament for region number 6, he extended Emancipation Day greetings to all Guyanese, but of course, all Guyanese of African descent. And he spoke highly in terms of the major contributions made by Guyanese of African descent. Our ancestors made that contribution, built Guyana. Had it not been for their contributions, there would have been no Guyana. And so we have to face these sort of reality. But when political clungs like a Schumann would hear these sort of things, they jumped up and say that Benschop is racist. And when you're proud of who you are, or your ancestors, your African ancestors or whatever, just like I'm proud of almost everything that I mixed with. But I'm heavily African. I'm a black guy, right? I have to be proud of my African ancestors. I have to be proud of the contributions that they have made. And so when we oftentimes, talk about that, people say, dotish people say that we are racist and we are this and we're that. But it's okay. It's okay for others to be proud of who they are. But it appears as though it is not okay for us to be proud of who we are. And so whatever I would say, the political opponents have a problem with that. If I say that I'm proud of our African ancestors, Benschop is racist. If I say I'm the best looking talk show host they have in Guyana and possibly the top 10 around the world, they say that Benschop has an ego. Also, all sorts of things they say. If I constructively criticize some of the lazy ones in the coalition, some of the lazy MPs, they start to talk about Benschop in their little groups and their group chat groups and all these sort of different things, sending messages to each other. Anyways, let me see here. Somebody's asking what year I attended mass games. I can't. I only remember mass games. I can't. How many years did they have mass games? I thought it's probably 1 year or 2 years or whatever. But if I tell you when I attended mass games, you probably have an idea. I was a little boy when I attended mass games. And mass games was very, very good. Very good. It was disciplined. We were out there with our nice yachting boots, socks, short pants. Those days, it was short pants. Start real long pants yet. So it gives you an idea. And it was fun. It was fun. It was disciplined. We got to meet lots of other students from around the country. I recall the final mass game session was at Albion Sports Complex. And the helicopter rolled in. I believe it's either then President LFS Burnham or could have been Prime Minister Ptolemy Reed who attended that event. I can't recall. But, those were good days. Those were very, very good days. I hope that answers your question. Renee Mackenzie Talbot. Mass games, yeah. Those were the days. Mass games indeed. What else can we talk about before? I know some of you guys, somebody asked about the petition. Yeah, someone asked about the petition, the elections petition. I don't know what's going on with that. Someone asked about some of the MPs who are missing in action. Yep. And you guys have legitimate questions, and I respect all of that, all that you're asking. And I just want some of them who are very thin-skinned, very, very thin-skinned, as members of parliament for the APNU AFC, that sometimes when you ask questions and when you say certain things, they get vexed about it. I'm sure that Nicolette Henry is going to be vexed. But it's not like I'm not going to have breakfast tomorrow morning, or, if she vexed, she vexed. You know what I mean? Like I've said, if she vexed, she vexed. But people have a right to hear from our politicians. Just like in the case with His Excellency David Arthur Granger, the leader of the People's National Congress, still the legitimate leader of the People's National Congress. People need to hear from him more often, and that is a fact. And it's what we say here on 107.1 FM as well. I kind of get the Mr. Ramjatan and an impromptu. Mr. Ramjatan, I don't have you on video, but I have a quick question for you, sir, because some folks are asking online and I thought that I call you, Mr. Ramjitan. Can you say what is the status of the elections petition, sir? I'm sorry that I call you at the last minute like this.
Well, there are two of them. The 99 elections petition number 99, is the one which is presently engaging the Court of Appeal on the question whether they have jurisdiction to hear the dismissal of that petition by Chief Justice George. The dismissal was on the grounds that the petition was not properly served. And inside of the Constitution, there is some requirements state that before you can go to the Court of Appeal, you have to pass these requirements as stated in Article 163. However, the argument is being made by Roysdale and Jeremy, senior counsel, both of them, that is not the only route for the destination that the Court of Appeal has jurisdiction. There is another route, namely the Court of Appeal Act, which gives the Court of Appeal jurisdiction to hear any matter from a high court. And there is good reason that since you do have a judge at the high court dealing with a petition that is talking about the grounds being she doesn't feel that it is properly served, and these service grounds are generally the rules of a high court. She used her power as a high court judge to dismiss on that ground. Then there is power for the Court of Appeal to do an appeal. That one is coming up, I think, on the 29th of July for further continuation of arguments. The arguments will be continued by Jeremy, senior counsel from Trinidad. The other one, 88, which was dealt with by the Chief Justice again, and she ruled that on the merits of the matter, whether the recount was lawful and things like that, in which she ruled that yes, the recount was lawful and all of that. That has gone to the Court of Appeal, but the Court of Appeal has to order what is called the documents to be prepared, because that one is an appeal on the merits of the actual decision of on an elections petition, as it were. So that one, I think, will be the preliminary matters to get the record of what the arguments were, the various submissions and all of that is to be done. And when that is done, then the date for the appeal of that matter will be fixed for petition 88. That should take another month or so, and then that will be dealt with as to whether the recount, as agreed to, is valid. We have been arguing that it is not valid. It contravenes certain provisions and so on, and that will come up probably in another month's time. I suppose, although the filing, the actual document, what is called the record of the court, would be completed by that time. You will then have some other time for submissions to be made to support the grounds of appeal which have been filed, and then rebuttals by the Attorney General and Douglas Mendes for Jagdeo and the others to come in. So that will be sometime in the future.
Sometime in the
court
future.
Is going on recess, I understand.
Mm-hmm.
the court generally has a recess around August and September. So I rather suspect that when they come out of recess, normally they would have that happening, the Court of Appeal.
All right.
So that would probably be sometime in October.
Oh, okay. And you did say that the hearing continues, if you're correct, on the 29th of this month, right?
On petition 99.
Okay, petition 99.
That's the petition
Yeah.
99.
I know I called you at the last minute here, and I thank you so much, Mr. Ramjatan. And you're always willing and ready to come on the show. I commend you for that. What is your take on local government elections being held this year? I know the chairman of the Guyana Elections Commission said that it is possible. What is your take?
I don't think that the PVP wants it. They have tremendous problems in the ground level. Almost all of their support bases are mad at them, how they're dealing with the COVID and the flood in very many regions. So they're going to use the fact that they don't want Lowenfield and Myers and Mingo there, and they're going to deal as a distraction from it happening, although it's constitutionally due. And then, of course, they're going to say if Myers and these people are there, they're not going to want it to happen and so on. So they're going to create a lot of distractions and a lot of other reasons not to want to hold local government elections. As you'd appreciate, whenever they were in government, they took, like as one time, only when Chadi Jagan was around, in 1994, they held local government elections. They don't like local democracy. They're control freaks. They give directions to those local authorities and the interim bodies that they have, and they run that tier of government that way. They did that for 21 years until we went into government, and we did 2 local government elections in the 5-year period. Now they're supposed to get the voting system in order. Monies have been passed for all of that to be done this year. And that is why I suspect that Madam Claudette Singh is saying that yes, because she has all the monies for it to be done. It is not as large as the general and regional elections, because a lot of the Amerindian areas and regions are excluded from NDC's elections, these local government elections. The Amerindian, under the Amerindian Act, has council elections, which takes care of those areas. So, it's a smaller population that you'd have to deal with in local government elections.
So another question. Yeah, of course the PVP is afraid of that. Another quick question. Are you comfortable as head of the Alliance for Change and part of the APNU-AFC coalition? Are you guys comfortable going into local government elections with a list that is heavily bloated, questionable?
Well, if it is bloated to the extent of so heavily that we feel that there can be manipulations to it and so on, I doubt whether. But there has been the promise from GCOM that they are going to clean that list for the local government elections. So that requirement that we are asking for is effectively a commitment by the GCOM people, at least the chairperson. And the money is there for doing all of that. I suppose we can, even if there's a supplementary required for cleaning that, I suppose we can find the monies and give them for the cleaning up via a house-to-house registration exercise. So I think that is going to be supported by the chairman of the Elections Commission, whose vote is vital in that regard. I would not want to go into an elections, I'll tell you honestly, my personal opinion here, if that list is as massively, padded, and got so many people from overseas and all of that, and dead people and a whole host of other, unsavory aspects about it. I was taking a rest. I had a lot of interviews.
I know you have been so busy, man. That's why I say I'm thankful that you took my call, and I hope next time you see my call coming through that you wouldn't say, "Oh shucks, Benschop gonna have me on for a long time." One other quick thing before we go, man.
You see how you stay, right? You see how you stay? You are almost extractive. Go ahead.
One other thing, sir, and I thank you so much, man. You're one of the hardworking MPs there. Schumann said,
"Don't dial me up, man.
I'm not dialing you up, man. It is the truth. Schumann said that in order for parents to collect the $19,000, and in order for them to collect house lots, be given house lots, they got to prove that they have been fully vaccinated. Your take on that, sir?
Look, I have made a statement this morning on that issue. I feel that Schumann, in relation to the WeCare monies, seeking to use it as a penalty to ensure that students who are not, whose parents are not vaccinated, they must not be the beneficiaries. Now that is a penalty for the poor school children. I had done a piece in which I said we must incentivize the taking of the vaccine. It has been done in America, your own country, Colorado. You know what they did there? They tell smokers of the cannabis that you come for a joint, we can give you you come for a joint, and we can give you a jab. Or sorry, if you want to get jab, you can get a free joint. Other countries have given relief, monetary relief, and so on.
But that is Mr. Ramsey, that is relief. But they don't. It is different from deprivation, and that is what.
Precisely.
Yeah.
His is a penalty to deprive children of the grant. At least that $4,000 aspect of it on, and because their parents don't want to be vaccinated. So I don't know how you're going to utilize that. That is not the same thing as rewarding people to come forward with a grant or monetary relief for flooding and things like that, so that they can get their vaccination. You want as early as possible to get people vaccinated to the extent that we will get herd immunity in Guyana, as the science of it goes. So if you are going to do a second COVID relief package, I urge Frank Anthony at a meeting that he wanted with opposition leaders that please incentivize it. Give them a second relief, because the people punishing really bad all over the country. But make it conditional in relation to when they come for the relief, they'll have to be vaccinated, or if they have not, or if they are vaccinated already, let it come with a card. So it will bring a lot of people who will want the 25 or 50,000 I was asking for, who will come forward, and you can have a number who, for some very frivolous reasons, not wanting to get vaccinated, the money is going to make them come and get vaccinated.
Like the other day.
That is the purpose of it.
And that's good. But the other day in Linden, they were offering free breakfast. I
found that is a little. You see the quality of what is given is what makes it a little irksome for me.
Breakfast.
I mean, yes, well, fine. You offer some breakfast, right? There might be some people who will come for it, but if you do a good package, because that is one meal. Londoners are suffering badly because of the flood, especially in those other parts of Region 10 and so on. And give the people a major packet, take it out of the oil monies. Where you get the oil money in America for? Bring the bloody money back home and give the people the thing, and then make an incentive to drive herd immunity earlier. That is what policymakers do. That is what politicians come up with these ideas to ensure that you have a happier society, a healthier society. So, I mean, I don't know what Schumann is up to, but that is Schumann. He's representing his Amerindian brothers. And I thought that was silly.
Really?
I hope that he see the
A lot of Amerindian brothers, indigenous brothers and sisters seem to believe that he's not representing their interests, and rightly so. Mr. Ramjatan, I don't want to be dialing you up for the rest of the night. Next time you appear on the show, hopefully sometime soon, I will dial you up indeed. But thank you so much for your time, sir.
You take care of us.
Appreciate it. All right, Mr. Ramjatan there for you guys. Yep. Some of you guys didn't know this, but the PPP was in Linden. They were offering free lunch to people, egg balls with 1 drop of sour for people to go and be vaccinated. You know, I don't know, but you don't deprive things from people. You don't say to people that before you get this money that belongs to you, that you have to show that you have been vaccinated. You know, this is the same Schumann who refused to show his certificate of renunciation as a Canadian citizen. He was playing games. He didn't want to show that certificate because he probably didn't have it. So he was playing games with voters who didn't vote for him in numbers. He doesn't represent the indigenous community. They don't like him. He was a Tusha, lots of controversy, allegations of him turning up in front of a police station naked skin, with tread shaking here and there or whatever. So the people don't want him as their representative. They have never acknowledged him as their representative. They have no time with him. They have disregarded him a long time now, because instead of representing their interests, he has basically, for the most part, misrepresented and continues to misrepresent the interest of our indigenous brothers and sisters. That's it for him, right? Let's touch on marijuana. Marijuana. A lot of young people have been incarcerated as a result of a small joint, whatever it is. And it is something that some of us have been advocating for a long time now. Small amounts to be decriminalized. Years now, I've noticed a lot have joined the bandwagon, right? And the coalition government should have addressed this issue 6 months after they got into office in 2015. They made a promise. They campaigned on that. They made a promise to address that issue. The 5 years blew by like that, and it has not been addressed. And so to this day, young men and young women, Guyanese in general, are being locked up, they're being charged, they're being sentenced to prison time for small amounts of marijuana. In other parts of the developed world, so much of marijuana you can be caught with. In fact, in places like Colorado and other places, Arizona, California, some parts of New York, you could walk into a smoke shop, smoke a joint. You could walk into a supermarket or somewhere and you buy marijuana tea and these sort of things. You can do these sort of things. I don't know if they have marijuana condoms, but maybe it's something that Schumann can find out. Right? I don't know. But small amount of marijuana should have been decriminalized a long time ago. For 23 years, the PPP never thought of that. The coalition campaigned on that. 5 years in office, and it was not addressed. It was not. Unfortunately, it was not. I know some of you might be saying Rome wasn't built in a day, and it was only so much that the coalition could have done within those 5 years, 3 of which, 2 of which they spent on a no confidence motion by a Judas that could have been avoided if they were listening to people about that Judas, that he was going to do what he did. The evidence was quite clear. But the marijuana, small amount of marijuana, it doesn't take much for it to be decriminalized. Remove the records of all those young men and women and people who have to go for a police clearance and cannot get a proper police clearance because of that record. And now the PPP promised that they are going to get it done. But listen to what Irfan Ali is saying now. Hemp, the cultivation of hemp is far more important than the decriminalization of small amounts of marijuana. So it seems as though people on political campaigns use this marijuana issue to get votes. And then when they get in there, it is to hell with these people that they have promised. I know the PPP has a history of making all these promises. But Irfan is saying hemp is more important. Cultivate it now. Deal with marijuana later. I don't know. It should have been dealt with under the coalition. Now, I don't smoke weed. I've never smoked weed in my entire life, and I'm an old man now. I've never tasted, never tried it, no puff, no nothing. And so it's not like I have a personal agenda that I want to walk around and smoke weed and then and behave like that that guy that calls himself a critic. You know, I don't smoke. I don't know if he smokes, but sometimes we have to wonder, right? And so that is precisely what has happened. But it is what it is. The APNU got out of office, AFC, they got out of office, they were forced out of office, and the marijuana bill is still burning in Parliament. I don't know. Sometimes I wish I was an advisor, but they didn't want me around. They said I was bitter. They said I was angry. All sort of things they said about y'all, boy. All sort of things. Afraz Usman, what's going on? A listener every night, as like many of you, Afraz Usman is on. Afraz was in Guyana recently. He called me from the beautiful village of Buxton. And I saw some folks that I haven't seen in years in Buxton. Thank you so much, Afraz. Thank you, man. I got some good videos you sent me as well. But to all of you, Vanessa Hackett, every single one of you, Hazel Nestor, the whole crew, all of you, Commissioner Cole, I'm looking at you guys, some of your comments. Blessed Child is saying that smoke the weed, it can kill the COVID. I don't know what the weed is going to kill. But what I do know is that a lot of young people have been criminalized as a result of small amounts of marijuana, you know. All right, so I've got to go. I'll be back tomorrow, same place, same time. Let me give this guy a plug. This is what the PPP has created. This is the job that they're talking about. So if you see this guy anywhere in Berbice, New Amsterdam, this woman's business, go out and support them. Not only dog food vendors in New Amsterdam, but dog food vendors throughout the country. Support them. Support the small businesses, the vendors. Support them. You don't need cruel and wicked and vindictive politicians that's saying before they collect a 19,000 that belongs to the people that they have to be vaccinated. What about the ones who got one vaccine, one dose, and it took the installed regime months before they get 10,000 more of the Sputnik V that is back in Guyana? So you have 10,000 that is in Guyana, and you have 30,000, 40,000 waiting for a second dose of the Sputnik V that came through some questionable middleman deal. What if someone got the first dose of Sputnik V, waiting over a month now for the second dose, but the cash grant of this school cash grant of $19,000, if the parent now says he or she is waiting for the second dose? If thousands of parents say that they are waiting for the second dose, what do you do? If in our indigenous communities, hundreds of parents say that they haven't had access to the vaccines, the COVID-19 vaccines, what do you do? What exactly do you do? A bunch of knucklehead politicians in the PPP, right? What do you do? I don't know. Guyana deserves better. I swear, Guyana deserves better. I'll be back tomorrow, same place, same time. Support these businesses, man. God bless you, and God bless our beautiful country. So long.
If you not take a taste, go to gather dark food, you can taste some bite too. We got nice dark food, kind of chip. All the woman was a man is dark. You could come and get a dark food for your husband. Everybody get a choice. We know deprive nobody. Uncle, you get a dark food, chip, sell out right away. We got a dark food, 200, 300 for the special. You don't get no dark food today? Dark food, cheap of all, I buy two for 360. You're not buying still. Oh, cost. Everybody come and get a dark food. Buy me out, let me shut my mouth now. Excuse me. Come buy me out, let me shut. I got a dark food for dog, dark food for cat. If you get a rat, I get dark food for rat too. If you hungry, you can come and taste some bite dark food proper. Get dark food with chicken food, dark food with beef. What kind of dog you got feed this food? There's dog, we got bigger food for all them dog. Man dog, lady dog, you got chihuahua with you. If you ain't got a dog all you want, you think about a dog, we got food for that too. We got food for every dog. Why you take that for me? You got... No, you got to... Remember now, me taste but you want different. Me all you want different. Yeah. You got dog on the stock. I got food for dog on the stock. I got food for everybody in the wallet. 200 for the normal, 300 the special. You can't get that nowhere else, but they come and buy me to check them out. I got that food with chicken food, that food with beef. I got that food with people teeth all. I got that food. I got that food. I got that.
It's hard to be at peace with the ones who are so discard. It's hard. Them have a knife in your back and them smile it so broad. Help me to deal with the ones them who said them love me when them really don't. Help me to deal with the fans them kill me flesh when the crowd are shout. Jesus, help me on the battlefield. Jesus, help me on the battlefield. Help me on the battlefield. Cause the booby traps with them set is real. I never want to take your glory, Lord. Send your angels to encamp around about me and stand guard. To envy is so easy and to love it is so hard. Let me work for your glory and not for the award. Don't make me ever get caught up in the scream and the applause. And go talk about the blessing and not talk about the Lord. All these things are vanity. I need your reward. Let me be real. Don't put on no facade. Help me to deal with the ones them who said them love me when them really don't. Help me to deal with the fans them kill me flesh when the crowd are shout. Jesus, help me on the battlefield. Jesus, help me on the battlefield. Help me on the battlefield. Cause the booby traps with them set is real. Sticks and stones can break my bones and words can harm me. They can harm me. When the evil come against me, you'll protect me. You'll protect me. Father, I need the strength of your son. Cause you know my work is not done. Lord, I need that endurance just to finish this race that I run. Help me to deal with the ones them who said them love me when them really don't. And help me to deal with the fans them kill me flesh when the crowd are shout. Jesus, help me on the battlefield. Jesus, help me on the battlefield. Help me on the battlefield. Cause the booby traps with them set is real. Jah tell me to stand firm, cause every little plan you have a confirm. I know them evil plan turn, in a darkness me a the lantern. So help me to deal with the ones that who said them love me when them really don't. Jesus help me to deal with the fans them kill me flesh when the crowd a shout. Help me on the battlefield, Jesus help me on the battlefield. Help me on the battlefield, cause the booby traps with them set is real. Help me to deal with the ones them who said them love me when them really don't. Help me to deal with the fans them kill me